Welcome to North by Northeast. I'm Sarah Ferguson, and I visit with some incredible women who recently opened a new practice in Gillette called Elevated Pelvic Health. Their mission is empowering you to take control of your own body through learning, healing, and skilled, concentrated, compassionate care. Let's meet the women of Elevated.
So I'm Lee Sawada. I'm a doctor of physical therapy. I've been practicing for nearly a decade and went to school outside of Portland, Oregon at Pacific University. And I'm from Gillette originally, and so after graduating from school, I moved to Denver for a few years and then ended up in Gillette, Wyoming again, where I've been for the last 5, almost 6 years. And I've been practicing pelvic health physical therapy the whole time, and I'm very glad to have found a home for pelvic health PT here in this community.
My name's Jordan Malkowski. I am originally from Jackson, Wyoming, and went to school in Minnesota at the Mayo Clinic, and my husband worked here already. So we've actually been super happy here. Most of my career has actually been in orthopedic PT, which was great for me, but I just felt like something was missing. It's been amazing and I love it, and I think the orthopedic world helped me to strengthen that understanding of pelvic health also, and so here I am, just practicing pelvic health PT.
So Elevated Pelvic Health is a physical therapy clinic, but it's a specialty clinic. So we're treating urinary dysfunction, bowel dysfunction, pelvic pain, pregnancy, postpartum, prolapse, groin strains, hip pain, back pain, things like that. So it's between here and here, generally. And our clinic is small and private, and it's the two of us, and then we have a director of First Impressions, Casey Jensen, who's amazing, and we also have a lot of Pilates equipment, so we do a lot of Pilates-based rehab, and we're working on core strength and coordination and neuromuscular re-education as well.
What's super nice about our clinic is that it's, like she said, it's very quiet and it's protected, and there's not a whole lot of people running through, so when people are discussing these really personal things that happen to them, it's not so public, right? You go into a quiet room, and we have soundproofing, and we've tried to make it like very comfortable as it can be.
Essentially, our job is to help people help themselves, and so we think of ourselves as the guide, right? But we're not doing it for them. Really, everyone's journey is their own journey, and so we're helping them through that, but we're empowering them to do it themselves. So we treat women primarily, but we also treat men and children because everyone has a pelvis. But anyone who's experiencing any dysfunction in the pelvic region, so I would say that the diagnoses we treat most commonly are things like urinary leakage, which can be an issue of strength or coordination, pelvic pain, for example, and that could include anything in the pelvic region. And we treat issues related to pregnancy, so pelvic girdle pain or low back pain during pregnancy. And we also treat a lot of women postpartum. I treat kids with nocturnal enuresis or daytime or nighttime bedwetting, for example. And lots of men with pelvic pain.
If people have constant back pain and they have had PT in the past, like it's worth a try to come in here and see if there is a pelvic component, right? Because sometimes that's their only symptom. Sometimes they only have abdominal issues or digestive issues or things that they don't necessarily correlate to their pelvis. So it's surprisingly all-encompassing, but if you've had issues in the past that seem orthopedic, it's worth trying another avenue.
This business had been a dream of mine for many years, and I wasn't sure when I moved to Gillette from Denver, where I practiced in a pelvic health specialty clinic. I wasn't sure Gillette there'd be enough patients to exclusively do this. And after being here for 5 years, I was completely busy and booked out several weeks, and I realized, oh yeah, there's actually a really big need for this. But definitely I wanted there to be a space that felt like it was tailored to the pelvic health person. So it needed to feel safe and it needed to feel private. I wanted it to feel beautiful and welcoming when you walked in. And our patients, many of them are athletes, but most physical therapy clinics feel like a gym. And I didn't really want it to feel like a gym. I wanted it to feel like it was sort of like a spa, a relaxing spa that you walk into and get pelvic treatment. And so it had been my dream. And then when I realized it was a possibility, I approached Jordan, and thank goodness she decided she wanted to.
And this was not ever. Like, I never wanted to go into business ever. So Lee can be very convincing, which is great. Because it's been great.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I did not have that same, right? Like, I was not going to do that. And it wasn't until I met Lee, which actually I have not known Lee that long. And I was treating my pelvic pain by myself. Turns out I am not good at treating myself. So I went to Lee and I was like, hey, I need some help. And so we started chatting. And then, as I, progressed my education, and I called her up. I said, hey, like we should, I'd love to work with you. Like, we should do some community outreach. And she's like, actually, let's start a business together. So it was a very different path for me. It was a little stressful because it was like, okay, wait, when are we going to do this? Okay. But it's been so amazing. Like, it's just so nice to feel like you have full control of what happens with your patients. And again, it's such a nice environment to have people in. Like, you feel like it's just an easier way for them to recover.
Her patients really love it. Like, it was always just the most glowing report of who she was as a therapist and a person. And so I didn't need to know her, but it was a little bit of a risk, certainly, because like she said, we didn't know each other that long.
We've had 2 conversations. Let's do this.
But at the same time, I think it's a really perfect business ownership matchup. I mean, Casey always tells us we're business soulmates. I'm a very big picture person, and I care about certain things, and she is maybe a little bit more logical, a little more detail oriented, and we really need that balance. And I think our patients benefit from having that balance in this business as well, for sure. I love being downtown. I mean, I've always been a fan of Main Street just in general. I'm always hoping that Gillette has a more robust Main Street scene, right? I love that on our lunch break, I can go down to the local and get coffee, or if we have a longer break, I can go shopping at Soulmates or go get a cupcake or whatever it is that I need to do. And so I love the energy down here. I think it's great. I feel really lucky that we're in this location. It's
nice because we have other businesses in here too that make a big difference and improve our clinic as well. We have a massage therapist that works upstairs, and a lactation consultant and a midwife, and they all kind of like, so if we have questions or something comes up, like, it's nice to be able to bounce ideas off each other, like it's a team environment. So it's nice being here so we can do that.
It really feels in the last 6 months like all of these components, the environment really matters, and the people involved really matter. And I feel like all those things have finally fallen into place. Our website is a really, really great resource. We go through all of the things that we treat, and we talk about who we are. And Casey is also introduced on that webpage as well. We're also on Instagram and Facebook, and we're elevated_pelvic_health. Our number is 307-682-2500, and we're happy to answer any questions.
We are at 603 South Gillette, so right next to, kind of across the parking lot from Twin Spruce, and we are open Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5.